Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I am Amalgam Ash, and today I wanted to show you what I've been working on in Smile Game Builder. I have a very simple map here, but the important thing to look at is the UI. In the upper left corner of the screen, you can see a message that is detailing every button that is being tracked, and absolutely every button that we have access to using Smile Game Builder is being tracked right now and assigned to a variable. In the bottom center of the screen, you can see that I have a sort of controller layout of icons, and these mimic the icons used on a PlayStation controller, just for flavor. When I hold down the C key on my keyboard, which also translates to the left bumper on your controller, these icons light up. And if you hold that button down and you press the buttons indicated on your controller by the UI, icons will now also enlarge. And you can see the message in the top left corner of the screen has changed. Its context is different now. So what is this? This is actually the WXHB Hotbar, which is a system utilized in Final Fantasy XIV. It was invented so that players of MMORPGs, or Final Fantasy XIV in particular, could play on their consoles using controllers and still get access to the dozens of abilities and actions and commands that you would need in order to be able to play those games efficiently, especially when you get to high levels or end game content and you need access to a longer rotation of your abilities to help keep your allies alive and keep dealing damage to your enemies. This system is extremely useful when you have a limited amount of inputs, and it is very extensible. If I go to achmorning.com, I can give you a better visual example of what the end product should look like. This is Final Fantasy XIV's cross hotbar as it is displayed in the game. You actually see 4 sets of these 4 icons. There's 2 groups. One group of 8 here on the left and one group of 8 here on the right. When you hold down the hotbar activation button on your controller, now all of your up, down, left, right, triangle, circle, square, X buttons have a different use. They will now activate the abilities that are in the same places as they are on your controller. And the player of the game is able to customize the hotbars and add whatever abilities they want to whichever button assignment they need. You actually have 2 buttons. The left trigger and the right trigger is what I use in Final Fantasy XIV. The left trigger in this case would bring up the left hotbar buttons and allow them to be used, and the right trigger would bring up whatever buttons are on the right. There are other features of the cross hotbar system, such as double tapping the L2 key and seeing an additional 8 appear above, so getting access to yet another 8 hotbar icons or abilities. And double tapping R2 does the same thing for the other side. So you have access to a ton of abilities in a very short amount of time. When I was introduced to this system by playing Final Fantasy XIV for the first time, it took just a minute to wrap my head around, but then it was very rewarding, and I love this system, and I wish more MMORPGs on consoles would implement it. So this is something that I'm going to be working on in phases, and with each release I'll be able to share it with you guys. You'll be able to go to my itch.io page and get it for free. But I do plan on first making this system to where the developer of the game can assign whatever abilities they want to their game, and then extending this out so that you can get access to even more abilities by double tapping the shoulder buttons. Then I would like to extend this, which is going to take a lot more work, by allowing the developer to give the player the ability to assign what icons they want on what button, what abilities they want to assign to which button for their controller. That's going to take some muscle and some time, but I'll get there eventually. For now, I'm going to release these in their current forms so that anybody who wants to take this and pick up from it and run with it and release their own version of it will have some solid framework that they can build upon. So eventually you should be able to create your own action battle system if you want and utilize the cross hotbar. That is really what it is for. However, there are a ton of other uses for it. Final Fantasy XIV has crafting and gathering jobs, and those use abilities on the hotbar in a more active yet passive way. You need to utilize the abilities while you're in a special menu when you are gathering or crafting. So it's really more about the order in which you do things, and it's a lot more fun to do things with the buttons on a controller than it is just to use up and down to select from options in a menu, at least I think. in that context. So I hope that the release of this, or this presentation even, will inspire you to create something cool, and to let me know what you think about this and what you would like to see added to it in the comments below. I answer those. That's all the time I have for this one. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Till then, bye for now.